Right, Mick.
Yep.
We've been asked a couple of times a few questions about my motorcycle that we have here in front of us, affectionately known as the Chopper.
Yep.
It's not really a chopper because most of the work that was done to it was all bolt-on. We were very, very lucky in how we were able to put it together. It started out life as a 2020, I nearly said 1920, as a 2020 Softail Standard. And the story behind it is Doug, who used to work here with us, very handy spare parts person, and build some pretty cool bikes himself over the journey. Doug and I were talking about what can my new bike be, because Rob Kay is constantly hounding me. Says that I'm the most, I build the most non-Harley Davidsons that he's seen. So I said to Doug, come on, let's build something that's that's pretty Harley. So as I say, this started out as a 2020 Softail Standard. We had the idea of making it look like an older bike, which I think we've pretty much achieved it, So we went Springer, sports to tank, genuine Harley seat. We went to try and make it look bare bones, I guess, as we possibly could. So I guess we'll just sort of talk through what we did. So the Springer is not a genuine kit. It's a Meatballs kit, which is Meatballs are out of Victoria.
Yep.
So he was really good to work with and really helpful. So we did that. Then we got the front wheel relaced to a 21-inch. We had to mess around with the brakes. It doesn't have ABS anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
We've got a little performance machine front brake caliper on there, which the front brakes, a few of the guys that have ridden it, the front brakes don't get rave reviews, but it's all about planning your ride, mate. You've got to plan to slow down if you think you're going to need to. One of the guys actually said, he goes, the front brakes, really the only reason you've got a brake lever on there is to make the brake lights actually come on when you pull it on, because they don't do anything else, do they? So, Let's be honest, it's a bit of fun. It's not about riding fast, it's about, just cruising around. We've gone to sports to tank, and the paint work was done by Nathan at Living Loco down in the Gold Coast, and mate, it's mental. We get so many comments on the paint. It is just, he's done a killer job on it,
The whole way through, hey?
The rear guard, it was, I like the Stars and Stripes, obviously. I'm a little bit of a Stars and Stripes fan on the Harleys. This is the third one that I've had painted like that, but he just did a killer job on it. Another guy who used to work with us came up with the idea of running all of the oil lines. A few people have sort of asked about where are the oil lines and where's the oil cooler, so we put an old genuine Harley oil cooler on the side of it, and then we ran the oil lines that usually come through over the top of the rocker covers up through the frame, so that the engine really stands out. When this Milwaukee 8 engine was first released, I like the look of the engine. They, as much as they possibly could, they tried to make it look like an older engine. So getting rid of those oil lines that run over the top of the rocker boxes has really sort of made that stand out. Engine-wise, I was going to go crazy on the engine, but I decided not to. I just put some tyres with no traction on it instead. That makes it feel faster, Mick,
Yeah, it's all about feel, isn't it?
So we just put a 475 cam in it, S&S breather, Red Thunder 2-in-1 exhaust with the genuine Harley seat, and once again, just to make it look, like a Springer with that seat, slam tail rear suspension, and then on the rear, another mechanic that worked with us named Adam made up the sissy bar and the brackets for the tail light and indicators and brake lights. Some underperch front indicators, and that's pretty much about it. Look, the whole idea of it, as I say, was to make it look like as an old school bike as much as we possibly could. We get all sorts of comments on it, what year's that? Is it old? Is it new? You know, if you know your stuff, you can pretty much see straight away it's got the Milwaukee engine, but it perhaps looks like it's had more cut up on it and done on it than what it actually has. It's a lot of time and effort went into it, but not a lot of structural stuff. There was a lot of thought put into it. And as I say, that's where Doug, with his experience, really sort of came in and knew the right people to talk to and to, you know, get the right bits and pieces and to achieve the look that we wanted to, you know.
That was one of the things I was going to say to you as well, was surprising with the modern M8 motor, beat aside, how many people come up and ask, like when you are out with it or something, what year is it? What is it?
Yeah.
You know, it does surprise a few.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, with the modern adaptation of adjustable levers and some things like that to mix in there. A few people still question it, you know,
Yeah.
what is it? What are we talking about? And yeah, it's kind of exciting to
Look,
actually do that.
it's interesting. You know, I get more comments riding this than I do, you know, any of the other Harleys. People pulling up next to me as I'm riding down the freeway, you know, giving it a thumbs up and all that sort of business, which is, you know, kind of interesting. You sort of see cars slow down next to you, and it's like, are they just going to swerve and run over the top of me? Did I cut them off? What's going on? Yeah. But look, it is a very, very, very enjoyable bike to ride. And I guess it's because every other motorbike that I've ever had, Nick, I mean, as you know, every other motorbike I've ever had, it's how fast can I make it go? How fast can I make it go? What can I do? You know, whereas this one, it's not about going fast. It's just, mate, it is genuinely just about cruising and not cruising very far though. The most I've got out of a tank is 105 k's, and I did mouth off about 18 months ago and say I was going to ride it to Melbourne. So I still plan on riding it to Melbourne, but it might be a 4-day trip.
You're going to look like the guy from Lethal Weapon with fuel tanks on his backpack. But it's possible.
I bought some,
That's
and
right.
I have to show them, I bought some 1.5 litre fuel cans.
Yep.
So I bought 2 of them, which will go strap onto that rear sissy bar that Adam made for us. So, you know, I'm prepared. I've got an extra 3 litres, Mick. What's the worst that can possibly happen?
Well, 3 litres. What are we talking here? Like, just as a rough guide, what's this tank? What are you talking?
Yeah, I think they're 11.
Yeah, so you
Is
might
it
get
11?
112 k's or.
I don't think it might not even be 11.
9 litre or something.
I should know. Yeah. But
Nah.
it's not going to. Yeah, it's going to be a slow cruise.
Yeah.
I will stop at every servo on the way. Fair chance I might stop at a couple of the main bars on the way as well. Get off and stretch the legs. But no, that's, as I say, we just wanted to, you know, cover the bike. Get asked a lot of questions about it. As I say, we haven't, I call it a chopper, but we haven't chopped it.
Yep.
It's pretty much most of the gear has been bolt on with a lot of hard work by the guys doing it and modifying things to make it fit and everything. But yeah, the frame in itself certainly hasn't been cut. It's just proves what you can do on these bikes to you know, get people guessing, I guess.
100% imagination in it, you know, like put a bit of imagination into something, and yeah, like this is probably the most questioned machine bike that you get when you're out and about.
Yep.
No matter what event you're at, like race your mates, like we mentioned in other videos, people just come up and sort of fancy to this, and yeah, the paint is just.
Oh,
as
the
you
paint
said
is
about
next
Nathan,
level. Yeah.
Nathan just did out of the park on that job. It's you just look for days into it. You just a little bit further.
Yeah, good description.
Worth a look.
All right, guys, happy days. Good to chat, Mick.
Thanks, mate.